This is Rodison. This is Grasshopper. Welcome back. Long time no see. Um, there is a lot going on in the world today, and there is a lot that has gone on in my own personal life. With that, I can only imagine that you have your own personal things that you've gone through or you've endured. And you should not be, like I am not, the same person I was the last time I saw you or you saw me. It's impossible. But there's a lot I've learned, and that is the nature of this life, or any life, is to learn. And if one can acquire that information or that knowledge before one's life comes to the appropriate depth, it's a beautiful thing. Briefly, right now, I could tell you what I have learned in just the time, not just the time to mean as if it was short, because Lord knows when I was going through it, it wasn't short. um, you know, but it's taught me to a difference in a concept that I actually made a video about, and it's regarding what some would consider divine time or divine timing. And the idea is that if there's such a thing as divine timing, then what are we experiencing right now, right? And when I made this video a little while ago, it was to sort of speak to the idea that one could be working in harmony with the structure's timeline, um, and thereby believing that everything is okay, right? It would be as if, like, okay, water, for example. The best water you could drink is water that comes out of the ground. As fresh as it is from the water, from the ground, that's the best water you could drink. Why? Because rainwater is great, of course, and it's water. It's great. It's been neutralized actually. So when it goes up, it's neutralized, and now it's coming back down, right? So you get neutral water. But when it runs through the earth, it has the task of interacting with the earth, right? And the earth is, although called earth, majority water. You and I, same, majority water. And when we make contact, we, man, woman, our species, when we make contact with earth, it rejuvenates us, right? Because there's a presence in the earth that interacts with us and recharges us. We all understand that electromagnetically as well, right? So then water does the same thing. When it runs through the earth, it picks up the minerals. We know that. So then that would mean what? The best glass of water you could get comes from a river or some stream, right? That's known, but yet that's not the way we live in our societies, right? Your water is actually the water that comes out of the ground for a long time was taught to be the negative, the bad water, the water that was not good for you, and rainwater the same, right? But we see how either someone didn't know and they told us that, or they did know and they misinformed us for a reason that could cause us to not be well, to be diseased, to not have the easy life we were supposed to have, because not only are we interacting with life and living it, but we're now able to replenish ourselves with these fundamentals, the grounding aspect, and the water, drinking the water, which is another form of grounding yourself. Because if your water came from the ground and your system is destabilized, you can drink that glass of water and it can help stabilize you, right? Why? Because you're 70% water? Sure, yeah. But also because that water in that glass is different from the water that's currently in you. The water in the glass has been neutralized, it's been mineralized by means of the earth. So therefore putting it in your body, therefore what? It allows you to be stabilized, to be eased. At least it affords you that ability. It helps you, it aids you in that journey. The point of all of this is to say that these are divine things, meaning that it's not anything that you or I implemented or put in place that caused these things to be the way they are. You can get your bottled water distilled a million times and it will not be as nutritious for you as your water coming out of the ground. There is a way to make your water more and enhance it even more. Yes, like for instance, if you got your water fresh out of the ground and you said, you know what, I'm gonna put it in a copper jar, a copper container, that, yeah, you just enhanced it. So there's cultures all over that have that's what they do. That's why they eat the things in. That's why they eat in the vessels or the with the utensils they eat with. That's why they cook their food in the pots and the things that they use. The type of materials they use. That's why they wear the type of clothing they wear. The type of materials they are. There's cultures that know this. That's divine knowledge, right? That's, we say divine, but you don't gotta be spiritual to understand that divine just means more in line with the original order, the original way of how things exist and is to be, the fundamentals, some would say, right? And then with fundamentals, you get to play around and put your things in there that can aid your life, but it's not the fundamentals. You see what I'm saying? You don't ever want to mix that up, because there's fundamentals and then there's what you might want to do or think about, right? But you gotta always remember the fundamentals, right? Like you can't walk off a cliff that's 300 feet in the sky. You know what I'm saying? You know that, right? That's a fundamental. Gravity, fundamental. You ain't messing around with it, and you work your life around that fundamental. So same thing with all the other fundamentals. We as beings, man and woman, we are to exist in harmony with the fundamentals. If we do that, then we are operating on divine time. And what I've come to experience is that this idea of waiting, Bob Marley made the song which says he doesn't want to wait in vain, and what it means to wait in vain, um, no one likes that. And then patience is another thing, right? But it's like if I were to meet you, if we had an appointment to meet up, and you thought I meant that we were supposed to meet like uh, 3 in the afternoon, but it turns out we were really supposed to meet at like 10 at night, and you get there at 3 in the afternoon, and I meet you at 10 at night, you waited. You waited. That's, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, you waited. But not saying unfortunately in the sense that you shouldn't have waited, but meaning like communication, right, was off. You got it wrong, I said it wrong, whatever it is, but the fact of the matter is you ended up waiting. And it came to me that this idea of waiting, it's the universe's way of reminding us that we are not operating on divine time. You see, because if you did know and you were aware that I meant, or that the intention is to be at 9 o'clock or so, you would get there in expectation, and you would what? You'd meet me there, or I'd meet you there within that time frame, right? That's divine time, meaning that you get the true time, the real time, right? So if you're like I am, feeling like you're waiting for something, the reason most times that is occurring is because something in our external reality, something in our world is putting the pressure on us. So much so that it's making us feel impatient that we need this thing to happen now. You see what I'm saying? But that is not.